are ending the Xornadas Internacionais de Coaching here in Santiago, days 10, 11, and now beginning a practitioner in NLP here in Galicia with a good amount of people that love NLP. And we would like to honor the participation of LinkedIn friends and then ask you some questions.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm centered, open, aware, and ready.
Okay, then Robert is in a coach state.
Yes.
You will need that.
Yeah.
Then we will begin with the actual situation, speaking also about crisis. What are the qualities that you think a leader needs in this present situation?
Well, I think a leader needs all of the qualities that have always characterized leadership. So, for example, leaders need, first of all, clearly some kind of quality of vision to be able to keep focused and keep seeing a bigger picture. Because I think what happens in crisis is we tend, it's possible to narrow the vision, and then we become only reactive instead of taking wise actions that will actually lead us to a sustainable solution. So crisis, you know, I always like to say that the word crisis comes from Greek crisis means decision. It doesn't mean problem, it means decision. And as the Chinese character for crisis illustrates, I think very well, it's the combination of two other ideograms. One is danger and the other is opportunity. So what a leader has to be able to do is to be able to find the opportunity and obviously address the danger. But what happens is when our focus only comes on the danger, then we're becoming reactive. We're going just into survival strategies. Attack, fight, flight, run away, or freeze, paralysis. So leaders have to be able to, stay centered in themselves, master what we've been calling the inner game. So stay ready but relaxed, stay focused but also spacious. And obviously then there's this issue of being able to, as we were exploring here today in this program on emotional intelligence, to be able to not get caught by the dogma, by the noise, but to really stay clear and true, stay authentic to their inner voice, follow the heart and intuition. So I would say those would be the key characteristics.
Well, you have asked to another question of our friends of coaching area LinkedIn group, which was the language crisis is limiting us. And you have said about the meaning of the word crisis. Perhaps you want to add something because we are speaking about language.
Yeah, I think, for me, crisis becomes interpreted only very narrowly and not in the true meaning of the word. And then crisis means only danger. And I think the other thing that happens is that crisis becomes a very convenient excuse for everything else. It's the crisis, it's the crisis, it's the crisis. It's not me, we're doing everything we can, but it's the crisis. So in an interesting way, it becomes the foundation of some kind of limiting beliefs. So that's one of the things that I hear is that everybody begins to blame the crisis, which is a nominalization, when actually, again, the meaning is it's a process, it's about a decision. It's about deciding, and I think that, to me, this is the most important thing. crisis, oftentimes when I'm working with companies, and they say, well, how do we change this? Or this seems like it's so solid, it won't, it's so stuck, it will never change. And I say, that's the value of crisis. Crisis means the old way isn't working anymore. It means you can't do things the same as you've always done them. So it's time to really try something different, to explore something else. So again, I think that what happens is that the way crisis is interpreted means it's only the danger, it's only the problem. And so I think, again, linguistically, it's a good idea to keep in mind crisis it's a good time. A lot of good things come out of crisis. So.
Yes, crisis has both sides. We can see both.
Yeah.
Okay. And specifically, our friends ask about what actions may take medium company for overcome the crisis.
Yeah. I think, especially in the medium company, one of the great advantages that the medium companies have over big companies is that there's more flexibility. And I think, but I also think that maybe it's true for any company that today we were also talking about these three fundamental aspects of leadership. Anticipate, right? Look ahead. So what the medium company has to do is not just only be stuck in fighting the fire of the present, but anticipate. And as we were saying, in anticipating, I've got to become aware of the weak signals, of something that's telling me what's coming. But also then, as this is the foundation for the vision, but then they have to be able to align. And so everybody has to be looking in the same direction, moving in the same direction. And then, of course, to act. I think probably one of the greatest things that stops people in crisis is they think, well, it's already bad enough, I don't want to take any risk, that's going to make it worse. But I think what you're going to find is that the companies that will make it, especially the medium companies, are going to be the ones that are willing to take a risk, to try something different, to try something new. So this would be my advice. So anticipate, align, act.
Thank you very much. I think we'll write these three things for our companies. Can you tell the most generalized belief in the business world?
Positive belief?
Sorry, limiting belief.
Oh, limiting belief. Yeah, I think obviously, to me, one of the major, kind of generalized limiting beliefs in the business world is the belief that that it's necessary to control things, especially in a crisis. What I see is that most companies are trying to increase control, and as a result, they're reducing flexibility, but also, most importantly, they actually take steps that somehow limit the possibility for collective intelligence. So one of the things that you find is there's kind of an inverse relation between control and collective intelligence. And what I find is that the biggest limiting belief is that in a crisis you have to increase control. You have to try to control everything. And this, I think, leads to certain kinds of mistakes and these types of survival strategies that I was talking about. So, again, I think a limiting belief during a time of crisis is any belief that is going to create the need to fight, to surrender or run away, or to do nothing. Because the other possibilities are you've got to flow, you've got to take risks, you've got to anticipate, you've got to align. So I think this is probably the most common belief in organization is this, you have to control, and most importantly, the big group has to be controlled by a small group. That if you that there's not enough intelligence in the system to know what to do, so somebody has to tell them what to do.
So we can change this belief, and we can believe that the intelligence is all around. We can take advantage of that. It's just a change of paradigm.
Yeah. And especially in crisis, that we have to do many things to increase collective intelligence as opposed to increase only control.
Well, thank you very much. Great solutions for the crisis.
Yes.
Well, an applause, please, because this is very important.